I have no words. It's such an awe-inspiring day. I least expected it to be this way, and I'm just totally amazed and inspired. The Swami has said the greatest goal of a human being is to recognize the inner divinity. That ultimately, that is the highest possible goal each and every one of us can have. Nothing else comes even close to that goal. And the best way to achieve that, Swami has also said, is through this love and service to our brothers and sisters. And what we saw today was all of the actions, the best possible actions that you can do in the pursuit of achieving that highest goal. You're not going to see this anywhere else. As Brother Suresh Govind said, there's a lot of projects going on in so many different organizations, but here we are doing it completely differently with a different perspective. The brother in, I think the New York Center said in Spanish, and somebody translated it in the chat, that ultimately when you serve your brothers and sisters, you're serving God. And that's what Swami says, and that's why he calls it this action. He calls it Narayana Seva, which is you are serving God. And ultimately the person who is serving is also God. And here's a quote from Swami, which always sticks with me, which Swami says, "When you offer milk to a hungry child or a blanket to a shivering brother on the pavement, you are but placing a gift of God into the hands of another gift to God. You are reposing the gift of God in a repository of the divine principle. God serves. God is the one who is serving. He is the one who is receiving. But he yet allows you to claim that you have served. Without his will, not a single blade of grass can quiver in the breeze." So I think it was Brother Sham who said, what we saw today is the various incarnations of God, going about serving everyone, other incarnations of God. I think there is no greater example or inspiration or intuition of oneness than what we saw today. Ultimately, service has to promote these human values in each one of us. We have to develop more empathy, more compassion. And when we do that, we do more service with the right attitude. It becomes a very positive reinforcement. So I hope that this inspires, more and more of us to do more and more of this work. I mean, today we saw from refugee projects to medical camps to the little children doing the veterans cards, the enviro care tutoring. There's so much going on. And I think one of the things that we should do is, I think at the national level, sure, we talked about homelessness and refugees as two initiatives that we should undertake. And it is great to see that actually getting picked up in the regions, and several regions are developing expertise in these areas, right? I think Region 10 and maybe Region 1 in the refugee service. I think it's important that we share these best practices across the regions, and not just share them, but maybe even specific regions can pick up, maybe more refugee projects, right? Where some regions are not doing it, and maybe you could assign mentors, from the regions who are doing it to those other regions, and then see, if we can increase and intensify some of these efforts. This is a huge problem in our country. Homelessness, and refugees support, and the tutoring and the feeding, all of this helps. But I think there's an opportunity to perhaps, continue to share best practices, but also make it more actionable, not just share, but actually get something from it as we move forward. Obviously, the gratitude to the speakers, Brother Sham, Brother Suresh Govind, who again inspired us with all of their experiences. And Brother Suresh Govind is very scientific about things, and he obviously showed us the value to ourselves from a scientific way of doing some of this work. But it's inspiring to hear both those speakers. And finally, we have to thank the organizers. This was a very creative effort. Obviously, technology and COVID seems to have brought us together as a big silver lining. It's amazing to see the team, the various leaders in the various regions, come put this together basically, right? Completely, it's a very creative endeavor, and very involving and engaging, as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it personally. I'm very grateful to all of the organizers, and it's such an honor to be in the presence of all of you, who are so dedicated and committed, to this message. It's just amazing. I don't know what else to say. I'm very grateful, obviously, Swami, who has worked through all of you, to create this, and I hope that we continue to grow, expand, intensify this work as we move forward. Sai Ram to all.
నిస్వార్థ సేవ వలననే మానవాళి ఏకత్వాన్ని గుర్తించడానికి వీలవుతుంది.
One can recognize unity of humankind only through selfless service.